जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और अभी मेरे को बड़ी खुशी हो रही है कि जब मैं सर्विस में आया था, जब मैं कमीशन हुआ था 2003 में, सितंबर 2003 में, हमारे चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ थे जनरल एनसी विज साहब। और अभी उनके साथ अभी गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा। अभी मेरे को अच्छे से याद है एक वाकया जो जो 2 जनवरी 2004 को हुआ था जम्मू रेलवे स्टेशन में। लेफ्टिनेंट त्रिवेणी सिंह from 5 Jaklai, he was killed in action at the Jammu station. He was awarded the Ashok Chakra for his gallant action. उसके बाद में the chief of army staff General NC Vij साहब जम्मू आए थे to address everybody posted in and around Jammu. और तब मैं as a young lieutenant sir की address सुनने गया था. And as a young lieutenant I had this big mustaches, and sir as a chief walked up to me from the crowd and he shook hands with me. I was overwhelmed as a young officer with 2 stars on my shoulders. The chief walking up to me and shaking hand and saying, "This is the best rank that you are wearing." And of course, who does not know General Vij, his way of connecting with the junior most ranks, with every single officer. As a chief, he wrote a deo letter to army officers, to serving army officers, and was very well received and very well connected. So has been GOC FOCO, DGMO. In fact, in 1999, he was the DGMO. In fact, Sir was the founding director of the National Disaster Management Commission. And of course, he has been a director at the Vivekananda Foundation. Let's speak to General Vij, and let's ask him how it was in 1999 when General Malik was the chief of the army staff and he was the DGMO later on when he became the chief, of course. And let's speak to him about his book. There are 3 books he has authored. 2 have been published. One is the Kashmir Conundrum, the quest for peace in the troubled land, and the second is which is published is Alone in the Ring, Decision Making in Critical Time, which has just been released. In fact, let's speak to the general and ask him why, and what was a strong reason why he put the name as this of his second book. Sir, Jai Hind, and thank you very much for spending time, sir.
Jai Hind, Major Ali, and it's a pleasure for me to be on your show. Thank you very much for getting me over. You'll be surprised.
Whatever.
The name of the book has been inspired by a boxing bout between Muhammad Ali and another boxer. I'm forgetting his name, and who was very, very strong, and he was the undisputed heavyweight boxing champion. And Ali was a massive underdog. When the bout started, there was a lot of chatter from Ali's corner, and they were advising him as to what to do. Now, that is the time he said in his heart of heart, "Hey, look, now I am alone in the ring. All the time for training, consultation, which we all also go through in the army, is over. Now it is my decision and my instincts which will work." And he fought the bout on his own instincts, and he won by a spectacular knockout in the 6th round. Now, Ali was my favorite boxer and always remained my hero. So that was the thing. But that analogy can be extended to the army, because in the army, the burden and the responsibility of taking decision rests on the shoulders of the commander. And whatever be the consequences of his decision, he is alone is responsible. He cannot say that so and so advised me. Understand? So the fact is, at senior levels, you tend to get a little lonely at the top, because decision making entirely rests on your shoulders, and sometimes those decisions are very, very difficult. Which, when we converse and talk of the offense, we will talk of that.
Sir. In fact, let's talk about this newly launched book of yours, because Alone in the Ring, and the name sounds very interesting, and it's inspired by Muhammad Ali, my namesake, in fact. And I've been a boxer too. So, sir, as Majroor Sultanpuri writes a शेर, मैं तो अकेले ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, मैं तो अकेले ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, मगर लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. So let's hear what inspired you to put this title again. Can you elaborate further on this? You mentioned about Muhammad Ali was alone in the ring, and he was the underdog at that time. Can you elaborate further, and what would, for our viewers to know, what would they be in store for when they read this book, sir?
So you see, this is what I said. Thus, an analogy of the boxing bout can be extended to the armed forces because the commanders are finally taking the decision, and when they take the decision, then they don't say, so and so also advised me this, so and so also advised me this. It is his responsibility. I'll give you an example of that. We set up the anti-infiltration obstacle system, which got popularly known as the fence. Now, when I decided of that, there were no takers for it. Not even my vice chief, not even my DGMO. As a matter of fact, we went to Northern Command to discuss it. The Army commander was also deadly against it. But I had decided and I had understood after having been the DGMO and the vice chief and having seen the infiltration over 4 years that the only place where you can stop the infiltrator was along the line of control. Once they crossed the line of control, then they dispersed in the hinterland, and then it was very difficult to find them because there were a lot of sporters at least at that time. And but I took that decision with nobody with me, with nobody with me. And as a matter of fact, I must give you an anecdote here. Jalan Nanavati, many years after his retirement, 4 5 years after his retirement, wrote a book, India's Internal Conflicts. And in that, he mentions about this discussion in his headquarters. And he said, General Vij, who was the architect of the thought process, he said he brushed aside all opposition. He won't listen. And he said, no, we will do this. And he said, I'm glad that he didn't listen to me because defense has been a huge success. The point is, it could go wrong also. Where is the guarantee that such a decision can go for right? But the commander, it is the risk of the commander. The commander has to take that risk and make up his mind. I'm not saying he should foolhardily do it. He has to do it with a lot of thought process. And I thought over it a lot, discussed with lots of hundreds of people, and got varying views. So, but I think the reason why most of the people were not for it was firstly they felt perhaps it is a defeatist mentality, defensive mentality. It is also undoable task. 740-kilometer long fence starting from Chenab River to Zojila Pass is no joke when you're going from zero height altitude to 14,000 feet through a very, very rugged and a difficult terrain, which is a lot of places riverine. But it was done. So alone, the decision making is alone. I can give you many examples, but I'll stop at that.
So let's talk about 1999 when the Kargil War was on, and and of course you were the DGMO at that time, and that was the last. In fact, yes, it's now because Operation Sindoor is right now trending. Everyone's very interested in knowing about that, and they all saw the DGMO's briefing as well. So let's talk about how crucial it was when, especially in 1999, when the Kargil War was on. As the DGMO, there must have been a lot of sleepless nights that you must have had to undergo.
Yes, it was difficult. I won't say sleepless because it is our profession. By the time you reach this level, you are quite geared to the fluctuations in life, things going up and down. We were certainly taken by surprise. That I must admit. We were taken by surprise, but not for long. And I'll tell you the reason why I'm saying we were taken by surprise because look at the audacity of the Pakistanis, our immediate Western neighbors, whom we can't wish away. While Mr. Bajpayee was on a Lahore bus yatra, peace yatra in Lahore, uh, the Pakistanis were already intruding into Kargil and to occupy our heights. Now that is the uh, what you can call the honesty of purpose of that country. So it was a surprise, but surely we recovered. We recovered fast, and there are many instances where something happened, and we took certain very major decisions. If you have time, I'll cover them now. Otherwise, I can cover
Oh,
them
yes,
later.
yes, yes, yes. I have a lot of time, sir. We
Okay.
have a lot of time. Please,
Okay.
please, sir.
You see, now I give you 4 5 timeline. On 3rd of May, we got the first information from a grazier, right? That the unknown faces he has seen. On 4th, 5th of July, we got two aerial photographs. And those aerial photographs gave us, we used to have those winter aerial surveillance flights, MASO. And they showed bivouacs and tents on the top of the hills, right? Now, we all know who have served in these areas, that no infiltrator leaves Vivek's tents on the top of the flight, on the hilltops, because they don't want to leave any telltale signs. And we sat down in the MO and we said, "Okay, look, no, it is not possible. It has got to be intruders." And based on that information, which was this much only, we took a very major decision and we moved a division worth of troops from within 15 corps and 3 days, that entire area, entire valley and Ladakh area, a division worth of troops who were stationed in the area of Kargil by 8th to 10th May. So what was there a brigade now became a division plus a brigade, right? So you see the opposition to the Pakistanis became 4 times bigger. Every area was occupied. Then on 14th of July, 14th of May again, uh, Air Force provided 4 aerial sorties, which showed gun emplacement and sangars on top of the hilltops. Now, we were very clear there is something big is up. What exactly we didn't know, but something big was up. And based on that, we ordered a Brigade X, our reserve division in the central sector, to move within 2 days, and the rest of the division to move within 7 days. And they were concentrated in that area. This was major movement. One day, myself, the chief, General Malik, and General Chandrasekhar, who was the vice chief, chief generally used to come to the DGMO office and sit down there and have a cup of coffee, both of them, because that's where you got the latest information. And that used to be there listening, or listening what is going on. And we discussed 4 points. The 4 points were that look, we must first of all stop all those ad hoc operations which were going on. Now, what I am saying ad hoc, we were used to the insurgency, and insurgency is a section platoon level operation. Conventional operation is brigade, division, and battalion worth of operation. So they are totally different types of operation. That we must stop those because we were losing people and not gaining anything. Number one. Number two, concentrate maximum Bofors of Indian Army into Kargil sector because Bofors were looking to be very, very effective. Thirdly, move 8 Div, which is located in the valley, to the Kargil sector because 8 Div had a lot of experience. And the Div commander was a very, very good soldier, General Mahinder Puri, who later on became the MS also with me, and then the deputy chief, and move him there. And the division which we were getting from the central sector should be placed in the valley. And placed in the valley not to fight counterinsurgency, placed in the valley as a threat in being against the Pakistanis, right? So these were the major decisions taken. And also the last and the fourth one was give them 15 to 20 days to the troops to train for the conventional operations. So not very many people will know that there was a pause in operations for about 20 days, right? Then around 24th of May, the Prime Minister gave a decision that we will not cross the line of control. Air Force, but Air Force was given orders to fly. So these were the major things from where the operation started. Now, why we didn't want to cross the line of control, why this will not happen, that will not happen. That those were the governmental decisions. That's a separate part of the book itself. But these were the four major decisions which we took, which changed the course of the entire operation.
Sir, 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 I will take you back in a memory again. The year I was commissioned in 2003, in fact, when you were the chief that time, so my first posting was in Akhnur. And I remember it was 22nd July 2003 in Akhnur, in Tanda sector, where 3 suicide bombers had entered into an EME battalion, and a brigadier from the EME was killed in action there, and the army commander was Lieutenant General Hari Prasad, who was wounded by the grenade
A bullet,
splinters,
bullet.
by a bullet, in fact, sir. And you were the chief at that time. So when you got the input that such a thing has occurred in Akhnur in Tanda sector, as the chief, because it was actually unheard of, an army commander of that seniority, getting wounded. Normally, it is. So, what was your initial reaction upon getting this news, sir?
Yeah. You see, we were in Srinagar that time, and the other two chiefs were also with us. The naval chief and the air force chief. We had taken them to the valley for a familiarization trip and to see the area and understand the situation. I immediately flew down to Akhnur and we studied the ground. And we found there were many problems with our way of defending an area. You see what we were doing, and that change brought about a quantum improvement in our operations thereafter. We were defending an area like a fort. You sit inside a fort and defend it, right? This is what we were doing. And one of those infiltrators had got in, obviously, and he was lying low. And when General Hari Prasad came there, an excellent army commander, and he shot him, and he got hurt in his arm. We said, any area to be defended, any battalion area to be defended, any company area to be defended, you will go out of the defenses. Defenses will be minimal. One third minimum must be out of the battalion area to patrol the area and defend the forward zone and all directions of the area. And thereafter, those were the orders because similar incident had also happened in Jammu, where 11 Dogra was there, and there also a man was shot inside the unit line. So from thereafter, we changed the tactics, and it worked beautifully well. And we I don't remember any incident of that nature after that.
So yes, sir, exactly. So, and in fact, in November in Akhnur, at Akhnur Bridge, and the operation took place where I had the honor and the fortune to be part of that operation. We got great success over there. There was eight sea class. There was one Lieutenant Thakur, now a Lieutenant Colonel retired, and he did the house entry. And you were the chief at that time, and he got your commendation card as well, the officer. So one of my course-mates just gave me a call some time back, and he said, as a young lieutenant, I was overwhelmed when I got the chief's uh, uh, a deal letter from the chief. You had written to a lot of officers, in fact, as a chief. In fact, probably I would say the only chief who could end up connecting at that time. Because I remember the youngster, as a young lieutenant, you walking up to me and saying, I had a very big mustache that time. It was the best rank that you're wearing. And you gave a pat on my back. And that feel of your hand, it stays with me even after 22 years, sir. I haven't forgotten that. Every time I met you at any dinner or anywhere, I would remind you, sir, you are the same boy you came up to.
Look, Ali, uh, it has been always my impression, and it has been always my, as a matter of fact, part of my education, I think. Maybe self-ingrained, maybe what I learned in my partner, because my partner was very, very good where I grew up, and we learned lots of things. The fact is, I always believe that starting from a single striper last night huh, to the chief, everyone in the armed forces remains on a learning curve because the dynamics of each war are different and new lessons emerge from each one of them. And we must learn from each other and must keep learning and write as much as possible so that the others can take advantage of that. Second lieutenant or a lieutenant is a very senior rank. You are commanding 20, 30 people. The life of those 20, 30 people is in your hand. You are a very responsible man. As a matter of fact, Eisenhower in the Second World War, after he launched Operation Overlord, he said that I was the strongest man in the world. Everybody was talking to me. But he said, now that the operations have been launched, I am nobody. Now it is in the hands of the NCOs and the young officers. Get my point? So a young officer is a very important man. You can't. He's a very important link in the chain. So I have a lot of regards for that rank.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, that feeling till today, I can't tell you the feel of your shoulder, of your hand on my shoulder. It stays with me, sir. It actually stays with me. And my coachmate said that जो आपने चिट्ठी लिखी उनको youngsters को भी, sir, it is like they have framed it and they have kept it. Sir.
Yeah, because you know what happens generally when the chiefs take over, they write to the army as to what do they want to do. I thought I'll reverse the order after we have done what, because I used to go out very often. Once a week at least I would be out of the headquarters, one minimum. Because we had to lay the fence and fence couldn't be laid unless you were standing on the head of the people and pushing them. So I used to go. So meeting people and conveying your mind was not an issue. My idea was that at the end of my tenure, what have we achieved, that I will share with them. And what is left for them to do, that I will tell. That's why the letter went to 24,000 officers.
Sir,
The
sir,
24,000 officers, kind courtesy the MI directorate, who took the responsibility to dispatch the letters, that DO went to 24,000 officers. And for
sir.
myself, for my book, for myself, for my book, I got a copy from my ADC who had preserved it. I didn't have. So he sent me that, and that copy is attached in the book.
Sir, you mentioned about your ADC. ADC is a very, very, he becomes like a part of the family. He's a very, very, I've done ADC tenure. So what is your equation today as your ex ADC? I mean, abhi aap touch mein honge, and how is it like?
All the you see, ADCs and all that, as you said, they are part of the family. They are part of the family. Your buddies are also part of the family. You all live together, you grow up together, and absolutely, the ADCs are as lovable as our own children.
Sir,
There were three of
sir,
them.
जी sir, please. एक बड़ा अच्छा इंटरेस्टिंग वाकया मेरे को याद आ रहा है सर 2010 में we had the regiment of artillery reunion and we had all gathered in Devlali, and that time General Deepak Kapoor was the chief of the army staff, and he was ADC to General Malhotra when General Malhotra
Yes,
was
yes,
the chief.
yes,
अब
I
now
know
General
that.
Deepak Kapoor was himself the chief and General Malhotra भी वहां मौजूद थे. The conduct of the serving chief at that time in front of General Malhotra, I was like, wow, it was something. So ये जो ADC वाली bonding है, ADC in general, it is the exposure was something else. It's something, sir.
You
In
always
fact,
respect your seniors. That
sir,
is that is
sir,
our tradition. That's why when I was in service, I started the Chiefs Conclave. you know and that tradition fortunately has carried on every tenure of each chief, that we request all the chiefs and their families to join us in Delhi and meet them over 2 3 days and discuss the latest, because they are the most selfless people. They have gained everything which they had to gain. There's nothing left for them which leave them satisfied, and they'll give you most dispassionate opinion and views. So that is done. And the idea is to tell the army, the message for the army is, look, firstly, you never leave the army. You remain a part of the family. And secondly, old is gold. The older the person, after all, our veterans in the regiment who retired, don't we respect them? We listen to them very carefully.
absolutely, sir. Sir, let's talk about an area which really is very, very close to my heart and very, very, I'm very passionate about the northeast part of India, sir. So you've been GOC 4 Corps, you've commanded a corps in the east, and you've had several tenures in JNK as well and the east as well, sir. Firstly, what is the difference in the two kind of insurgencies you found in Jammu Kashmir में उग्रवाद लड़ना और नॉर्थ ईस्ट में उग्रवाद लड़ना का फर्क क्या देखा था आपने?
You see, Northeast, I joined on my first posting in 1962. We passed out in December. We missed the China war by few days. We went straight from the IMA. Northeast was very badly developed. There was hardly any development, as a matter of fact. From Lucknow in a 80 mail to Tinsukia, we took 3 days to reach, which from Delhi to Tinsukia, now you do it in less than 24 hours. Right. So that's what Northeast. Roads were not there and all that. So it was a very poor area, neglected area, because it was on one corner of the country. And secondly, that time Naga insurgency was going on, Mizoram insurgency was going on, Manipur insurgency was going on, though, and the entire area was disturbed. And then the Chinese invasion of 62. So it was, but now if you go to Northeast, you will find Northeast is much, much better developed. And as a matter of fact, India has a lot of designs that from the Northeast we will develop our economy to. Yesterday, I read an article from 4 trillion to 20 trillion. We'll go through Northeast, right? So Northeast is developing now. And secondly, we have a very major threat now in the Northeast, that is China. That time it had not crystallized. Now it is very clear, and a lot of development is taking place there. J&K, of course. was always part of the mainstream northern India. So J&K was always okay, but J&K had put themselves into a claustrophobic kind of a thing. You know, there used to be a permit kind of a thing. You have to come out of J&K to India, there you have to have a permit, kind of a visa kind of a thing, small. You can call it visa or whatever it is. All that is gone now after 2019, especially that is gone. And J&K is very much a part of, very much integrated part, I would say, integrated part of India. Even a railway train has started going, and that is the best thing to happen. And now that people can move from Srinagar to India anytime without any problems. Earlier, you had to go, come on slow buses and all that. You took 2 days almost from Srinagar to Jammu. So, but J&K has been trouble, kind courtesy our Western fronts.
Sir, sir. So in fact, I had the honor to be the to serve as the ADC to GOC 3 Corps, and in fact, I had the rare honor to be ADC to 2 general officers, sir. बाद में, of course, Lieutenant Manbir Singh Dadwal, you know him very well, sir, from Dogra Regiment again.
Yeah.
So I was officiating with him for a while, and then I went to the Assam Rifles, and so in fact, this is a DG Assam Rifles competition card which I just got a few months back, sir, as a veteran. फौज से सेवा नियुक्त होने के 18 साल के बाद सर.
Mm.
So I have a very strong attachment towards northeast part of India. So let's talk once again about your book, your recently launched book है आपकी. For viewers to get a hold of this book, where can they get this book from? I mean, it is online होगी, Flipkart, Amazon या nearest bookstore, wherever. Sir.
It is available both in Amazon, Flipkart, anywhere, wherever you want. It's available everywhere. And I one thing I like to tell you about the title of the book. If you look at the title of the book, though I'm an army man, it is not about the army alone. It is trying to reflect all the three services and also the command and control element on top. That is, you see the center, the CDS badge. Not that he is the commander in chief, but the idea is that everybody has been brought in. Because any future war, why future war, even the old wars, were fought basically by all the three services together. Jointness we always ensured. In today's war, depending on what is the objective of the country, a particular arm or service may take predominant role. Like in the recent Op Sindoor, the army did a wonderful job by holding the LC, and they brought in, even this time I saw there were the tanks also on the LC to blast the opposition post. The Navy went on to the Karachi airport, and they would have, if given 1 day more, they would have perhaps blasted that area. And the Air Force, of course, was in a big action with their missiles and aircraft. So the time has come now when we talk. I think instead of talking of Army, Navy, and Air Force, we should talk of all the three services integrated with full unquestioned command over their commands. That is the message I want to give through this book. That's why I designed the cover very carefully.
Sir, sir, you missed the 1962 war job when you were just commissioned in December. So उस time पे आपके अंदर क्या feeling आई? Because I was speaking to Colonel Viren Thapar, who was Captain Viren Thapar's father, in fact, Veer Chakra. So he was telling me that, you know, he had the fortune of fighting the 62 war as well. So आपको क्या feeling आई होगी कि उस time पे कि just missed it, क्यों फौज में आते ही हम इसीलिए हैं. जब आपने 62 की वॉर just missed it in academy, तो आपको क्या फीलिंग आई उस टाइम पे सर?
You see, we were commissioned on 11th of December, and by 14th we were in the unit. That is after traveling by that 80 mail for 3 days because there was no leave given, and we were dying to get into the action. You know, who wants to miss an action? In what we count at the end of our services, how many wars have I participated in? Right? So we were dying to get into the action, but unfortunately, the war finished in the third week of November. But still, there was a lot of tension in the area, and there were a lot of precautions being taken. So we did get a feel. We did get a feel of the area. My unit was in Velong, that is in Lohit division, and we lost 109 men, and around 43 were injured, and about 150 were taken as prisoners. And Velong, they stopped. Chinese came up to Velong and then they stopped. because they couldn't go beyond that. They suffered so many casualties. So we were dying really to get into action, but it's just too bad that we missed it. And but we got a feel. We got a feel of the 62 war.
Sir. And then, sir, in 1965, where were you, sir?
1965, my unit was in the eastern sector, in
Sir.
deployed in the eastern sector, and
Sir.
that was another kind of a drama. Every evening we were prepared. Okay, today you will go in. Today you will go in, but it was not happening because the governmental decisions have their own ways. But in the
Sir.
eastern sector, 71, I was in Chicken Neck in Akhnur. Incidentally, that is the day
Okay,
when my
oh,
son was also born. Hmm.
sir.
My
Oh,
son is
wow.
also
Sir,
born
the
on
MH
this.
Crew, sir. Sir, sir,
Yeah.
sir.
So 4th of
Fond
December we
memories,
went in, and in the Chicken Neck area we captured a ferry site, and then a couple of posts later in the subsequent days. So it was interesting, very interesting.
sir. So, Akhnur is a very nice place. In fact, General Manoj Pandey, former chief, he had several tenures in Akhnur as well. Sir.
Yeah, I didn't know
Sir,
that.
and sir, sir, आपका बहुत time ले लिया मैंने, and I'm really enjoying this conversation with you. I would not want to let you go, in fact, but I reckon that you are busy and you've been very generous with your time. Sir, जाते जाते, any last message you would like to throw out in the universe? I am particularly interested about your book, sir, but anything else you would like to talk about, sir?
I think three things I will mention as a lesson from my service, experience of my service. Number one is that we are professionals. It is our duty and our commitment to give the government the most frank and forthright views. There should be no mincing of words, ifs and buts and yeses and nos. No, absolutely frank and forthright views. Number one. Number two, we government and the military machine, the military commanders must have professional trust in each other. Is very important. It's very important because I'll quote you General McMaster's, who was the NSA of Trump one, who was, of course, like was the tradition, all NSAs were sacked. He was also sacked. He has written a book by the name of Dereliction of Duty, Five Silent Men, blaming the five chiefs for not having a lot of personal equation with the president. As a result, they suffered in Vietnam, right? So I will not say personal, I'll say professional relations. So which is what I have said that we must have good professional relations with them because politico-military decision making is very intricate. It cannot be done till you have full faith in each other, right? And third thing is whatever task you may be doing, like we were busy in insurgency in J&K when Kargil happened. Our primary task is to remain prepared for the conventional operations. We must always remain prepared for the conventional operations. There should not be a situation where you have to take a pause to train your troops quickly to get back into the street, right? And that one can keep adding, the young officers are the real nerve center. And the decision making has to be bold, it has to be flexible. Involve your troops in decision making. Like the fence was created, the alignment of the fence was given to the battalion commanders and brigade commanders that you align the fence according to the area you consider best. It can't be done on a map, like the partition of India was done on a map, without realizing what you are doing. So people on the ground will do this. There are many lessons you can draw, but three or four major lessons which I have told you, they are very, very important. Political military decision making is intricate. Full faith between the two organizations. The government and the military is a must to succeed. And your troops must be well trained for operations at all times, especially in our case. And fourthly, we have come a long, long way from the time we were in the army. Even when I was the chief, 2005 to 2025 in Operation Sindoor, 20 years gap, India has come a long way. Technologically, we have become very, very superior. But yet, there are miles to go. In the same breath, I'll say there's the miles to go. And those miles we have to catch up, and we don't have much of time. We have a small window, we must catch up. Because your actual enemy is not Pakistan. Pakistan is a small fish. is the Chinese. And now with the Bangladesh, which has come in, you have a very dense security paradigm. Indian Ocean is full of uh, the navies of all the armed countries in the world. Chinese are there, their submarines are there, the Americans are there. So India needs the first-rate armed forces, very well coordinated armed forces, integrated armed forces, and then only we will be up to our task and well prepared, latest equipment.
Right, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, sir, thank you very much, sir. Truly grateful. And 20 years have passed since you've been the chief, and you still are the same. You still look the same, as fit as ever. Touch wood. I went back to the same time. I'm a Lieutenant Saab. You are the chief, and when I met you physically in Jammu and now virtually. So thank you very much, sir.
No,
My
it's
regards
been
to
a
you.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so very happy to talk to you. I'm sorry I've been putting you off because I said, "Okay, let me be prepared with some good, worthwhile subject before we talk." Thank you
I
very
know,
much.
sir. I'm sorry.
It's a-
I have bugged you way too much. Every day messaging you, calling you, or catching you whenever I
no,
would catch you at
no, I
as a
promise
chief.
you that when I'm ready, we will talk.
Sir, sir.
It's a
Sir,
pleasure.
thank you very much, sir. Sir,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai, Jai. Tell me, what have you done? We are off the line now, ne?
So no, we are just
We
going
are off
offline, sir.
the. Yeah.
Just going